Tom here from Boilermaker Powerlifting. I'm bringing you this video about the biggest mistakes that I've made in my 20 years of lifting, in the hopes that the viewers who are on their own journey or considering starting doing some strength training in the near future don't make the same mistakes that I've made. Mistake number one is not knowing proper form and technique. When I started lifting weights in 1996, I just was doing bench press, maybe lat pull downs and some bicep curls and tricep stuff. And I'm sure that my form was absolutely terrible. What I wouldn't give to have a video of me bench pressing way back in 1996. I'm sure that just like most people that go to the gym, I lie down on the bench and grabbed the bar and pressed it off my chest as hard as I could. And if that's what you're doing at the moment, the chances of you actually reaching your true, bench press potential are slim to none. And I think I started squatting maybe a year or two later in university, and I didn't actually deadlift until maybe 2012. Now, the way that you can overcome, your lack of knowledge of how to execute various exercises correctly is you can go online to YouTube. There's countless videos that teach form and teach technique. There's lots of websites with a plethora of information about how to do that correctly. There are books, for example, Starting Strength by Mark Ripito, a famous strength coach, which really are a wonderful source of information about how to learn the proper technique so that you can just improve better and faster and get stronger, which is of course the goal of strength training. Knowledge of proper form is particularly critical to stay injury free. If you know what you're doing and you know how to safely do that, you will prevent yourself from getting seriously hurt, because weight training, it's quite possible to injure yourself for life. It doesn't happen very often, but it is possible. So knowing, perfect or proper or appropriate form will keep you from getting hurt and allow you to continue to do what you like to do. In addition to that, having knowledge of the correct form and technique will allow you to, effectively and properly, stimulate the muscle groups that you are trying to train, and it will allow you to, lift the most weight that your body can handle. The next mistake that I made in my years of lifting is just simply not knowing how to progress quickly, efficiently, and optimally. When I started lifting 20 years ago, I went into every workout and I just absolutely destroyed my body, doing a zillion sets of a zillion exercises, thinking that that was what was necessary and that's what it took, this kind of like no pain, no gain attitude. And that really couldn't be any farther from what is optimal in terms of training. So my recommendation would be to find some programs on the internet, and there are so many. Bill Starr's 5x5, Starting Strength, Jim Wendler's 5-3-1, this program that I'm on by Greg Knuckles and Omar Isuf. Lane Norton has a really great program called Ph13 or Ph3. There are so many programs out there which are, have been designed by people that are way more knowledgeable than me, and more knowledgeable than I will ever be about weight training and program design, things like that. So if you hop on a program like that, you will see so much progress in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And that's, something that I couldn't recommend more. It would be, just jumping on a program that one of these people has designed and just sticking with it. Consistency and just following the program, verbatim will lead to results. Programs, saying like this is better than that or that is better than this, it just comes down to personal preference. I've tried 3 different programs, and the one that I'm on, currently, I think that's the best for me, but that's not saying that the other programs are not good. Another point I'd like to add to that thought is back when I was younger, I would train just one body part once per week, and I would just absolutely drill that body part to death, which led to just minor nagging injuries, tendonitis, inflammation, just ridiculous soreness, and training like that is just really not effective at all. You should be training each muscle group or body part 2 to 3 times a week, and if you get on a quality routine, it will have all of that figured out for you, so that you don't have to really worry about if you're doing the right things or if you're doing the right amount of things. Being on a program will be a really, really useful thing for you in your strength training. The third mistake that I've made in my years of lifting is providing my body with poor nutrition. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tell anyone how or what to eat, but I think that common sense goes a really long way in deciding what proper and good nutrition is. I personally went online searching about the proper amount of fruits and vegetables to be consuming per day, and I stumbled upon an article from, I believe, The Guardian from the UK, and it said something like 280 grams of vegetables and 280 grams of fruit per day, and I've kind of just rolled with that. I will go over that, quite often, but that's kind of my benchmark. Fiber, lots of water. In terms of protein, there's a lot of numbers that are thrown around. A gram per pound of body weight, whatnot. I have just gone with a well-known nutrition and fitness guy named Alan Aragon. I've just gone by his protocol, his recommendation. He recommended eating a gram per pound of body weight, of the body weight that you are aiming for. I currently fluctuate between 185 and 187 pounds on a daily basis. I try to eat 190 grams of protein, and that has worked for me. You can get your protein however you want. I'll talk a little bit more about supplements later, but I've shied away from protein powders in the recent years. I try to get my protein and all of my nutrition through whole foods, with the exception of having about half a serving of a weight gainer intro workout on really high volume days. But yeah, if you don't provide your body with adequate nutrition, you're not going to get stronger and you're not going to recover. You can go online and you can kind of guesstimate your BMR and you can guesstimate your activity level, but truly the only way to figure out what your maintenance calories are is through trial and error and just looking at a scale on a daily basis. I've come to the realization that my activity level is between moderate and active. That's your BMR times 1.55 or 1.725. And then I go online to exrx.net and I just kind of guesstimate how many calories I burn on days that I lift. I've mentioned in previous videos that I try and walk a minimum of 10,000 steps per day, and then I weight train on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I try and just estimate my calories from that, and I feel like just through some trial and error, I've pretty much got my calorie requirements down pat. I've maintained the same weight for the past 4 weeks or so, so I think I know my activity level and how many calories I'm burning. But if you don't give yourself proper nutrition, then you're definitely not going to get stronger.